In this video, we check out a 2021 Coachmen Freelander 22XG. We talk to the owner and see how it's gone so far after 1 year of ownership. If there's anything that can test the durability and strength of a motorhome, it's boondocking in the Arizona desert in the middle of summer. And this Coachmen, it passed the test. This is a 2021 Coachmen Freelander 22XG, and it was bought by my buddy here, Brad. So when Brad bought this 1 year ago and drove out to Texas, it's on the Chevy chassis. He paid $58,000 and change. So at the time, I'm pretty sure this was the least expensive motorhome you could get in America. But like everything, it's gone way, way up. But it is still definitely, I think, a good value for what you get. And we're going to go through it. Tell us how you got this motorhome and what drove you to get a motorhome.
Well, the fact of the matter was that I have a boat that I tow. It's an 18-foot aluminum boat. You can't tow that with, I mean, you have to have a hitch to tow that. So a camp trailer wasn't going to do it. Campers that go on my existing pickup truck were so overpriced. They were like $50,000 for a camper. And when I found this one for 58, I said, well, that's a slam dunk.
And it's a 2021 22XG Coachmen Freelander.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And its actual length is 24.9.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to the parks and stuff, I think a lot of times they have a 24-foot rating.
Yeah, state beaches, Doheny and stuff are 24-foot.
I just say it's a 24.
Yeah.
And I've never had a problem parking. You can park this motorhome in a regular parking spot. If you go to the store or wherever, it fits in a regular parking spot.
Exactly.
So that was a big plus.
So what drove you to get it out in Texas? I know you drove out to pick it up and you got it from MHS RV, which is their
Motorhome
specialist RV.
Specialist, right.
And how did that go, buying it online? Because you bought it sight unseen, right?
Oh yeah, I paid for the whole thing, and you know, I got my receipt and my paperwork when I showed up there, and they gave me a tour of the motorhome, and I was on my way in 30-40 minutes out of that place.
Wow.
Because I did it all online.
Yeah. So what sight unseen? What was your the expectations, and what did it? Was it better than you expected, less than you expected? Talk through that a little bit.
Well, when I was looking for a motorhome, what really sold me on this coach as opposed to other ones was the fact that it has that rear door and the cargo tie downs. And of course, like everybody, I have visions of doing things that I probably won't do. But I can put my electric bike in there. I can put a kayak or canoe in there.
Yeah.
And when we go to the beach, I put the easy ups and the chairs and a folding table and all that stuff.
It's easy to load them.
It's real easy to load them. You know, most motorhomes, you got one door. That's the side door. It's narrow access.
Yeah.
This one's got a great big door in the back, and you can pull stuff in and out. And that was what sold me on it. The reason I went to Texas was because I had been to all the local dealers, and what I was getting was $70,000, $80,000 in prices for even one just like this. They were considerably more money here in California.
Yeah.
So I just typed best price, new motorhome, and it came up with the place in Texas. And they did. I looked at it, it says $58,000. I saw the door in the back. I looked at the floor plan. I thought about it for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And I kept talking about it.
Yeah, and you're a Chevy guy, right?
Yeah, and I wanted a
Chevy.
That was the other thing, is that I didn't want a Ford Carrier. I wanted a Chevy chassis.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, my wife got tired of listening to me, so she said, why don't you just go buy that thing? And so that day I pulled the trigger on the motorhome. My son and I got on a plane. We flew to Texas, and we drove back, and it was a great little adventure.
Yeah, that's cool. And you drove straight back too, nonstop.
Oh yeah, it was it was a blistering run. I think I drove all night long. I wanted to get out of Texas before the sun went down.
Now, were you happy with the Chevy chassis? You like the choice you made?
I'm real happy with it, and just the other day I crawled underneath it, because one of the things that I heard when I talked to salesmen about motorhomes was the reason they didn't use Chevy chassis is because they flexed too much, and the Ford chassis was a boxed frame. And so one of the salesmen had told me that Chevy came to the party and they have a boxed frame. So when I went into there, sure enough, all the stuff on the chassis in the front is a boxed frame. It doesn't flex very much. And of course, it's got the Chevy engine and the Chevy automatic transmission with the manual override. It's a copy of the Allison transmission, so it's got 6-speed manual. So if you're going up a hill or down a hill, you can use the transmission to slow you down. And I'm real happy with it.
Always got to talk about the positive and the negative. So what, after a year of ownership, you said you have how many miles on it?
It's got 6,800 miles on it.
Yeah. So you haven't taken any really long cross-country trips, but you've taken a lot of day trips and a lot of overnight trips. Up to Crowley, doing some fishing, right?
Yeah, I've been up there a couple of different times.
And towing the boat, launching the boat, how was that?
No problem at all. It doesn't get great fuel mileage. It's between 7 and 8. And I don't know if that matters if I'm towing my boat or not, but that just seems to be the way it is. And if I stayed out of the throttle a little bit, I'd probably get better mileage. But
yeah, it's the older, it's a small block engine. I think it's 360 some cubic inches, and I don't think it's undermotored, but I definitely think you wouldn't want too much bigger of a motorhome with that engine, especially pulling a boat.
Yeah.
But I mean, we pulled your boat to Yuma, and I felt that it did an adequate job. It wasn't too bad.
It didn't slow us up a bit. It goes up the Cajon Pass like nobody's business.
Yeah.
So it's got plenty of horsepower for what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now that Vortec motor is 6 liters. And it's a little bit older technology, and I think that's why some of these newer ones are getting better gas mileage. It's just due to the overhead valve technology compared to the old traditional V8 technology.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's a workhorse. It's proven itself, and it'll probably get 200,000 miles, no problem.
Yeah. I've always had really good success with Chevys, and
it doesn't matter if you get a Ford or Chevy. They're strippy chassis.
Yeah.
The cabs are not fancy, so it's not like you're giving up the life of luxury to go from one to another.
We did have one issue though. It was really hot in the cabin, and I couldn't figure out why, and that was because I ended up taking it to a dealership here in California after I got back. But the vacuum lines that control the gates on the heater and air conditioning, I was using, the vacuum lines were off. So the gates weren't staying open, and it was putting hot air into the cab.
Yeah.
And they fixed it. They didn't charge me anything for that. So
yeah. Nice.
That's all good.
And you did have one issue with the awning. You had to replace it, right?
Yeah, the issue.
Beginner's mistake, right?
The issue was me. At Lake Havasu, where we left in the morning. It was a bluebird day, not a breath of wind. Within about 3 hours, we had a gale of wind blowing through there, and
you were out in the boat fishing.
Yeah, and we didn't get back in time, so it tore the awning cover, and when I got back, but it didn't mess the frame up. So yeah, I had to put another awning cover.
And that's just the things you learn through as you get through the beginners things, the mistakes you made, and the things you do that you learn from. But you happy with it so far?
I am really happy with it, and I think for my situation where we're hunting and fishing normally out with 1 or 2 guys, I can't think of a better fit. It's a little cramped when you get in there with 3 people because you got to walk around them, but it's just something you live with. And when you're camping, hunting, and fishing and stuff like that,
I think it's exactly right. This is what you would call a couple's motorhome, or maybe a small family that had small children that can sleep up in the overhead cab.
Yeah, my daughter and her 2 kids. And
exactly. Husband, that would be about perfect.
Sure.
But any regrets?
No, I have no regrets at all.
Yeah. Happy with the product?
Yeah, very, very happy with it. I did have to build a carport on the side of my house to kind of keep the sun off it here.
Yeah, we talked about the roof is definitely, when you go to an inexpensive motorhome, you said it's just vinyl up there, right?
Yeah, and that's the salesman that I was talking to was telling me all about the composite material on the side that wouldn't absorb moisture and it would last forever. Never said anything about the roof, but I did ask him why doesn't it have a ladder on the back. He goes, well, you don't really need to get on the roof of your motorhome. Well, I know why now, because when I got up there to wash it on my ladder, it was a vinyl cover over the top.
Yeah.
And it's all silicone down around all the corners. I'm sure it'll last 10 years.
And you have to redo it.
It'll keep it out of the sun, yeah.
But it's like what you get, right? You're not going to get a one-piece fiberglass roof on a motorhome at this price point.
Exactly. And one addition that I made on this was Pizza was telling me that what you need is an outdoor shower, and I was like, really? You need an outdoor shower?
Well, tell him why I needed the outdoor shower.
Well, he tried to retrieve a dove in a really muddy field, and it about killed him getting out of that field, and then he was just covered with goop, and I'm going, I don't want you in the motorhome. So I got a bucket of water, and he's doing a sponge bath. So right after that, I installed the outdoor shower.
We realized the outdoor shower is more for than just showering off sand at the beach, but it's good for that too.
Well, your hands are cruddy or whatever. It's a real valuable thing to have as an outdoor shower. So this was real easy to install. It is lined up directly with the bathroom sink and the plumbing under the sink. So when I went in there, I just opened the door, I found the lines, I marked the spot, I drilled the pilot hole, I come outside and I drill it with a bigger hole. And this was a kit that I bought on Amazon. It came with this hose right here and the nozzle and the fitting to go into the motorhome. And it just plugs in. If you got good eyesight, it just plugs in and turns. And now
it's a quick connect, yeah.
Yeah, now you have, and you can, if you need a jet spray, you can do
it's just like a garden hose. It's really nice.
Yeah, let's just say your campfire gets out of hand, or
whatever,
or you got a pesky dog or something, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I just hang it like that, and when the awning's out, I hang it on the awning, and you can leave the head on, and you can set underneath it and take a sponge bath, which we did.
And it's plumbed into cold water.
This is only plugged into cold water. I had an option. They sell them that are either hot or cold. But I was weighing it out.
We live in Southern California. You don't need the hot.
Yeah, I thought, well, if it's cold, tough luck.
Yeah, exactly.
At least it's water.
So there's another cool thing that Brad did that I think I've never seen before. So talk through what you did behind the cab here with this curtain.
Okay, well, I realized there was ambient noise driving down the freeway, stuff coming from the floor. Even though it's pretty well insulated, there was still this ambient kind of a pitch noise coming through there. So I put
they're noisy rolling down the road. Man. They're clattering, dishes banging and everything.
Well, I kept having to raise the volume of the radio because I'm driving down the road, and the faster I went, the louder it got.
Yeah.
So I thought, no, I'm going to put a thermal liner. So I bought these curtains online, and then I bought some thermal insulating material, which I cut in strips so I could have the fold like the normal curtain would. And I just stuck it right to the cloth, and then so there's a curtain on the inside and a curtain on the outside
with the thermal material in between.
With the thermal material. And so coming back from Yuma, it was smoking hot. All the air conditioning stayed in the cab where we were. We were extremely comfortable coming back. When I walked back here, I realized what a benefit it was because it was really hot in the coach. Yet when we were driving down the road, it was nice and
well, the quietness shocked me. I mean, it was so much more quiet with those curtains up than it was before. And the beauty is, go ahead and close them. Let's see what it looks like there. So, you're always trying to lock out the light, when you're sleeping at night as well. Yeah, and they work perfect for that too.
Yeah, it's a complete blackout.
Yeah, and you just hung it with a shower curtain, right?
Yeah, there's a curtain rod underneath here, and then of course I didn't really like the way the grommets looked, so I put this valance over it. Part of it was the fact that light would come through these grommets, and so I wanted to stop that, and I figured that I was losing air coming through there too, so I just bought a piece of cloth at Joann's, cut it, and then I velcroed it on.
Yeah, no, it looks good, and I mean it does a fantastic job of keeping the noise out. I mean, it was like driving in a normal truck. You don't get all that really loud road noise that you normally would get in a motorhome.
I was literally on a quest. I thought, no way I'm going to change this. I did not know how it was going to turn out. I was kind of winging it, but like Pete said, it made a huge difference in noise and the thermal insulation.
Well, we were on the one trip to Yuma because the front air conditioning was trying to keep the back of the motorhome cool. We actually had to turn on the motorhome air to keep us cool because the front cab wasn't cutting it.
Exactly. Yeah,
and then it definitely fixed that problem.
Yeah. So that was a good addition. My wife said, "Why didn't I just build my own motorhome?" Because I did all these changes.
You did all these changes.
And I said it wouldn't have mattered if it was the top of the line, motorhome. I would change it because that's just me. I can't leave well enough alone.
Well, your changes are definitely good though. I mean, you're very creative and you've done a great job with this. I mean, I'm looking at that going, all right, Brad, you gonna make me a set?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the necessity is the mother of invention.
There it is.
That's what we got.
So originally this came with a queen bed. Brad didn't like that. It was a corner bed. So he put this twin bed in, and now it has walk-around space. So what'd you do to your bed to convert it?
Well, it was a queen-size bed, and what happened, it was bothering me because it took up the entire back of the motorhome. You couldn't walk past it. You couldn't get to the door. You had to climb into the bed. And then there was no place for you to put your stuff when you were in bed, like if you had a CPAP machine or something like that. So,
or even luggage like underneath or something.
Yeah, well, you could slide it in from the front, but it was really inconvenient.
Yeah.
And it bothered me. And I kept thinking about how many times I'm going to be in here with somebody sleeping next to me, which was just like zero. So I decided to make it my own little bedroom. And so I converted it. I built a twin size, that's a twin XL size frame. out of square tube. And the original one was an aluminum frame. It weighed a little less, but this is a lot shorter. So I built this, and then I had to put this fiberglass sheeting on it to kind of.
Which you can just get at Home Depot, right? Yeah.
That's where I bought. I think I bought that at Lowe's, but yeah, I went down to the Patent Steel and I bought the tubing and cut it all up and made the frame. And of course, it was kind of the unknown because I didn't really know what I was going to end up with or if it was going to work really well. But it did work really well. I'm extremely happy with the room that it's bought me.
Oh, it changed everything.
Yeah, completely. It's a complete different motorhome because of that. You know, you can walk through here. You have access to the cabinets. Like I said, you've got a place to put your telephone or your water or whatever on the side.
Yeah.
So.
And you can change it back, right?
Oh yeah, I kept the original bed. I didn't change anything. The frame that holds this up, that for folding up and down, I didn't modify that at all. All I did was put a twin size frame on there and a twin size mattress.
Realistically, how long do you think it would take you to swap out to the other setup?
Oh, 30 minutes at the most.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and I got.
So if you and the wife did want to go and you needed the queen bed, you can switch it.
Right. Well, she was arguing with me about my sanity about changing it from a queen size to a twin, and I said, well, if you want to go, I got the original bed, and we will just reinstall it. And she was good. But the last trip we went on, she said, you know, I really like that bed that you put in there. So
it just makes it easier, like a normal bedroom where you can get back there and you can do all your stuff. Well, that's cool.
Exactly.
So you can see, here's with the door open. Here's what I love about this is if it's not like a cool night and you want to kind of feel like you're tent camping or something, look, you can just kind of close the screen and then you got the fresh air from outside right in front of your bed. That's pretty awesome. You can see how he did the twin conversion. Normally the bed goes all the way to this wall, but what I love is that now that the bed stops here, you have this nice little shelf. You can see perfect for a CPAP machine. It's plugged in right up there, so it's super convenient. You got a shelf for your phone and everything, and that just works really well. So nice setup. So having been in this motorhome and used it, the shower for me, I'm a big guy, it works. It's a little tighter than mine, Integra, but it works. It's manageable. It's a decent size. The only thing that doesn't work, that toilet is in a horrible position. Let me show you. So as you can see with the door shut, there's literally nowhere to put your leg. So you have to use the restroom with the door open. There's no way around it. And that's why he put up this little shower curtain courtesy kind of drape so people can use the restroom in privacy. So here's one thing I love about this motorhome. You can actually have the back door open. You can have a front door, a back door, screen door. This has that luggage, gear, storage area here in the back. The bed folds down, and so it is just really airy and roomy, and it feels a lot bigger than it is because you can open up the doors. One thing I really like for an inexpensive motorhome, it has the Dometic Bluetooth thermostat that you can set with your phone. So at night, if you need to turn the air up or down, you can do it on an app on your phone, which I thought was really trick. For the cheapest motorhome in America, I'm really surprised that they put that option on there. Really cool. So everything in here seems to be holding up real well. I mean, this is a plastic inexpensive sink. You can hear it's just inexpensive plastic. It's a plastic kind of a little bit flimsy sink, but so far so good. He hasn't had any problems. These blinds here are not too bad, but the ones over here, that one doesn't work real good. Let's see. You can see it kind of scrunches up. It doesn't want to fold up right. So I have noticed that before. One nice feature that this has, it has the electric only refrigerator, which runs off the batteries. And this thing is awesome. It keeps your ice cream cold, and it works while you're running down the road off the batteries using very little energy, and it looks good too. So for an inexpensive motorhome, that's a big, big plus. As far as breakage, I know this drawer here, it pulls out, and that's how the bed is made. It lays out right here. So there was something happened with that drawer that he had to fix, and there was another one of the seats was just made real cheap, and I know he had to reinforce some wood there as well. So we got the hood open. Windshield wiper fluid, brake fluid, power steering fluid, air cleaner. Looks like real easy access to change that. We've got all your fluids here. Here's oil dipsticks right next to each other. That's super convenient. You've got your coolant there and battery access. Pretty easy right there, easy in and out. So real simple under the hood, no problems there, really easy. So there's no step getting in, but it's a low step, so this sits really low. I'm kind of liking that. It's really not too bad. So one thing, like as you could expect on an inexpensive motorhome, there's no running boards, so you got to kind of step up to get in. But you kind of would expect that, and that's something you can add yourself after the fact. So this is the chassis and the cab, and it just has your basic seats that are not aftermarket, but it's actually pretty roomy. What I love about this compared to the Ford is that the doghouse is quite a bit smaller than what you see on the Ford chassis. It is definitely not as bulky in the cab. So it does have a few nice things. It does have a inverter here, 110 outlet. That's nice. You do have the 12-volt power source here as well. Nice cup holders. And I think he has an aftermarket radio, but you know, air conditioning and all that is fine. The only thing I don't really like about it is its manual door locks, which is kind of old school. It is very strippy chassis from that standpoint. The chairs, the seats, they're just basic. But I'm a big guy and I actually fit in here pretty well. So I'm 6'2". You can see I got leg room for my knees, but my left leg is definitely like at an angle. I can't have it go straight. I kind of have to have it at an angle here, but it's not too bad. So here it's real basic steering wheel. Looks like you got cruise control, and that's about it. I don't see any other functions for the steering wheel. That's it. But the Ford's pretty basic as well. So being a guy 6'2", I can say compared to the Ford chassis, I'm definitely a little bit more crammed in here. My left leg's a little snug up here, and it definitely is not as roomy as the Ford chassis. So one thing I would say is kind of limited is there's just one storage compartment here, but that's about it. There's only one storage compartment on this side, and on this side over here, let's see if there is any. No, there's no storage. Is that one on the outside, right?
That one on the outside.
Yeah, so that's definitely a little bit of a downfall, but thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. If you have any questions, we'll try to get back to you.